All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Word with Ty Brownlow. I am your host, Ty Brownlow, and remember, no one is worthless. No story is worthless. And today, ladies and gentlemen, I have a very special guest for you. Give you a couple of words about my guest. Survivor, author, speaker, champion. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Miss Kendra Hall.
Thank you so much. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing okay with all that's going on. So with the pandemic, that's all we can do.
That's all we can do. Now, where are you joining us from today?
New Jersey.
New Jersey. All right, Jersey. I like Jersey. Okay, all right.
And where are you located?
Right now, I am in Chicago, Illinois.
Oh, wow. I've never been to Chicago. I've always heard great things.
Right now is not the time to come because it's about so I would wait until June because, well, technically July because it's in Chicago. The weather gets warm when it wants. So
that's my birthday month. I'll take it. I'll take July as my birthday month.
There you go. There you go.
Cool.
All right. So let's just get right into this. Let's get into your story because you have such a remarkable story. You were a teen mom. And basically not only were you a teen mom, parental support, and basically you found yourself in a position of being homeless. Basically, what was the deciding factor for you, not to become another statistic of being just a teen mom?
I think that I already knew within that I could do more and that I can have more. Because my foundation, if I did not have the foundation that I started out with, I don't think that my hopes may have been as high as they, as they were and as they are. Because I grew up around people who were progressive, who were movers and shakers, and who were determined and who achieved their goals. And so that's what I was used to, that type of perseverance, determination, and people who had things because they did what they needed to do to get them in terms of going to school, whatever jobs that they had to hold down, that they did, entrepreneurial skill sets and all of that. So I think that if I didn't have that strong foundation and growing up in, my mother is a retired educator. My father, they both had their master's degree. Both of my parents. And so I think if I didn't have, and they were both education oriented. So that to me was very, left a strong imprint on who I was and who I am as a young person. So going out into the world alone was absolutely scary. And I definitely was not expecting to make those type of adult decisions at such a young age. However, knowing that people had, and I came from that, even though I was thrust into poverty at the time, I knew that it was attainable and it was achievable. So I just kept the faith, and I knew that it was something that could be for me, is some type of semblance of peace could be for me.
Okay, all right. And I think it's great to have that, perspective and, already entrenched within yourself, because you need that, you're going to need that, pretty much, going out here into the real world, as you said, and it could be a very scary place when, you're just not as prepared as you think you are, So what were some challenges that you faced early on, just going through everything?
There were so many challenges. I would say being out on your own, the main challenges are being underage and not being able to get the type of services or get the type of property that you may want because you're not 18, because or you can't get the job you want to because you're not old enough to get the job. And just that was a big thing of having to find income and ways to work, and being 14, being 13, um, having 15 and these age ranges where people don't, that's a middle ground in essence, because you're not 16, you can't get your working papers yet in essence. But as a young person out on your own with a child, that's a very challenging situation, because now you're limited in how you can make and ways you can make money. So I think that is one of the major challenges of being out on your own, and also in terms of you finding a place. I mean, you're a young person. Nobody's going to rent to a child. So you're at the mercy of adults, and some of them don't always have your best interest at heart. And so that's the biggest thing, especially, being a young woman out on your own. It happens for young men and young women, all types of things, but definitely, it makes you're more vulnerable being out on your own as a young woman with a child. So you really have to be very cautious, because there's so many wolves that come around. And that is a big challenge of you having to deal with housing, economics, right? And then having to deal with, on top of that, not having that control because you don't have the age, and then having to deal with people who want to capitalize off of you because they see your situation and they're looking to find a way to leg up or get some type of control and ego boost off of you. So it's a lot when you have to deal with when you're a young person out on your own, and those were some major challenges.
Well, man, I mean, just listening to you describe some of these things, I'm just sitting up here, I'm like, wow, like there are certain things that I just would never really think about, but as you're putting it into perspective, you're like, well, yeah, you would have to do that, and you would have to do this, you would have to do that. And it's very unfortunate that you do have those out here who do prey upon those in those types of situations. And as you said, it doesn't matter, you being female or male, there are just some people out here looking to take advantage of, others, period.
Right.
So, man, my hat's off to you to pretty much overcoming all of that and, rising above. So my next question to you is, what really made you want to become an advocate, for women, when basically, you rising up out of your situation, you could have just raised your family on your own, you could have went off on your own. And, there have been cases of, people who do that, they don't want to think about what happened in the past, what have you. They want to go on and live a, better life. So what made you want to be an advocate and give back?
Well, I bring it back again to the foundation. And I didn't just mention my parents having their educational background for no reason. The point of it is that as a younger person, before being out on my own at 13, I was in heavy educational training. So after school, I had to read the dictionary, I had to read the encyclopedia, I had to do reports. After school, there was not much television. I was in church Monday, Wednesday, Saturday evangelizing, and on Sunday twice. So I had a very structured background. The first time I had sex, I got pregnant. So, keeping that in mind, that I came from a very, and on top of that, I was in all the extracurricular activities you'd like to think of. So I was already in go-getter mode and go-getter status and that mindset. And that was very helpful for me to, and in a teaching mindset and in a helping mindset, and also in a God, a God-fearing mindset. And even though we fall and we make these mistakes, and I made mistakes, and all of those things, I still brought myself back to knowing that God is the key, and He's the one that is going to provide that direction. And He's always directed me to evangelize. He's always put me in front of people to speak about how the Word of God, and and always put me in front of people to that made me believe and hope even more, and have more courage and perseverance because of other people's stories that I've heard being out on my own all of these years. So one in particular thing is, I met a young woman when I was about 16. I was in a domestic violence shelter. I had been thrown through a double glass window. And it was, it was a rough time I was going through. And, I was at this domestic violence shelter. They had to get special permission because I was only 16 to get in there, because everybody else was, over 18 and up. It was one of those things that wasn't common, that happened, that you saw, that, someone reached out for help, I guess. I'm sure it was very common, but the reaching out for help part may have not been and as much in that situation. So I was, at this domestic violence shelter. Another woman came in, and we hit it off. She was my roommate in the shelter, and her story was so profound because she had been through so much, and I really didn't understand how she was still standing. So, she taught me a lot about life, just from being around her, and her wanting to teach me and educate me. And that in turn, again, gave another spark to want to continue to give, to pay it forward to more young women, to more people. Because wouldn't it be, I always think about, what if I had this guide or some type of way to know what the next move should be, to not go into this pitfall, to say, you know what, I can avoid this and, be on level 3 as opposed to level 1. So this is what the book that I've written inspires you to mentally think of ways and to understand life in a bigger scope, and not just on a where you're not thinking of life in a vacuum. You get to understand it from a broader point of view, and also to apply it to your life and to see how life lessons can really change when you accept them and you actually take the action to take the change and make it happen for yourself. So it's one of those things that's near and dear to my heart, because it really inspires me to think of all the lessons that I went through in life, being out on my own, all of the young women that I encountered. So I had to write this book. I had to give back. I had to continue on. And my vow is to each one teach one. That is the, we know that term, and it's a needed term, and we need to continue on with that mindset. So that's really what it's about in my spirit.
Okay. Hey, you know what? I like it. And you pretty much summed it up. Each one teach one. I had these experiences, but even before my experiences, someone else had experiences, and me talking to them helped, shape you into who you are. So now you can go out here and talk to others, who basically they're learning from your experiences, and they can, pass that on and so forth and so on. I love it. Testimony
service is always about testimony service. We can't have church right now.
But you know what? You can always have testimony, even though you probably can't have church, but you could always have testimony. So
that's right, exactly. So that's really what it is. It's really about you giving your testimony. Everyone really speaking about their experience and seeing other people can say, "Hey, I identify with this," and I'm no longer feeling alone. Yeah. And now I can make the next step. So
okay. All right. So now you hinted on this a little bit earlier, but we're finna talk about it now. We're about to talk about this book, Dropping Jewels, okay? Tell us a little bit more about it, and tell us, and there it is. Go ahead and show it one more time. Dropping Jewels, there she is right there on the cover, and and look at it. She's giving it to you. Jewels are dropping. All right, there you go. But now tell us a little bit more about it, and where can we get it?
Absolutely. So my book is based, it's really about the lessons, like I said. Definitely, it's full of a juicy story, which is my story, based upon my story. I could not put everything in there. However, the book is not so much to be shadowed by my story as it is to be really highlighted by the lessons. And after each chapter, there are chapter jewels that I've put in, to whereas it really surmises What are the special takeaways that you should really focus upon as far as leaving this chapter? And what are the life lessons and critical moments and critical thought processes that you can really take away from reading the book? So I'm just going to read a couple chapter gems from one of my chapters, Fixed Windows.
Please go right ahead.
One is that confrontation allows you to see who people are clearly. And I think that that's really important. A chapter gem, especially now when there seems to be so much in the atmosphere as far as us just strife alone. And so it's really important that people start to and this is just heavy on my spirit today. It's just when you open up the book, you got to go with what the Spirit tells you. And one of the things is also saying is that one of my chapter gems are, we must be vulnerable and open to recognizing the truth. As well as don't put a band-aid on matters, face them with courage. You must be open, willing, and able to put yourself in another person's shoes, putting your pride aside. So, one of the things that's going on now, I feel like in the world, is that there's so much ego and pride kind of running rampant. Yeah. And so people are just kind of harboring their feelings until they pop, as opposed to dealing with them head on, because people are starting to just kind of take their frustrations to social media and to people that don't are not in the situation and can't really affect change in the situation, because a lot of people really run from conflict. They run from the moments that aren't pleasant, that aren't smiley and unhappy. And that's one of the things that this book really teaches, is to nip it in the bud. Okay, that's an old saying, but
yes, it is. That's old still, nip it in the bud. Oh my
nip
God.
It.
You're my grandmama now. Oh, Lord, please. Okay. Right.
Yes. It still rings true, right? I mean,
it does.
It does. And I think that, when you nip things and you face your mountains, as opposed to trying to go through the valleyway all the time, you climb the mountain and you'll feel stronger, you'll feel better, and then you'll be able to really fully see the next step of your journey from the top of the mountain as opposed to the bottom of the hill. So I think that, confrontation is one of the things that, to make a better quality of life for yourself, that people really need to take away from it, because that was one of the things that was one of the very lessons that was very, very important for me to learn and to not continuously repeat, because that can really keep you stuck on a level that you don't want to be on.
That's true. That's why it's called Dropping Jewels. That's why she wrote it, y'all. Man, check it out. I'm telling you, man, for real. Like, I love everything that you're saying. Where can we get this book?
You can get the book on Amazon, and also through my website, www.droppinjewels, DROPPINJEWELZ.com.
All right, Dropping Jewels. Thank you. So let me ask, what's next for you? Because basically this has been 2020. 2020 has been a year. I don't even know what the word is to describe 2020, but it's been a year for a lot of people. And a lot of people can say a lot of things about 2020 in a negative fashion. But I'm going to take it from a different spin. If there's been something positive to come out of this year for you, what is that positive that you would like to share with the audience here?
I would say the positive is that I've been able to really hyper focus on the things that are important to me, and not to be as distracted by things that aren't. Having this time to really not be around as many people, and not have as many things that I need to do on the outside, because it's the pandemic. You have to really stay in.
Yes.
Right? I mean, we should be staying in right now anyway, as much as possible.
Listen, Yes.
So it's been helpful with my making sure that I stay even more hyper focused on what I need to do, as opposed to being pulled away for that hour commute that I have for work. I do have a 9 to 5 as well. So I think that that's been super, super beneficial. And also I feel like I've been able to work on my second book, which will be out next year, as well as my calendar, which will be out soon as well. So look out for those. And I'm also really, I've been really super, super happy about Survivor's Jewels, which is my IG series. And it's been super amazing to just have this outlet to share survivor stories. So I've been doing that as well every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So check that out as well. So it's been pretty fruitful. It's been productive.
Okay. I mean, that's what it sounds like. Like, you hear so much of the negative all the time, but there has to be a balance somewhere. So for all this negative, there has to be some positive. So I like to ask people all the time. So, I know this year's been a lot. I know there's 1,000 negative things you can say, but give me something positive. And you have something very positive. And look, she out here working, y'all. All right. She out here working. So this brings me to my very last question, the question that my show is known for. So I have to ask this question, Ms. Kendra Hall. What is the one word that best describes you and why?
I would say perseverance. And I say that because I keep pushing no matter what. Mm-hmm. And I don't allow the things that are not of God to stop me from completing the things that I need to do and what I feel are to glorify Him. So I'm not allowing man and to stop me and the things that are going on in the world to stop me from giving God the glory and to tell my testimony and to share my story to help other people to get to the next level.
All right. Better words could never been said. There you go. All right. Now, once again, if people want to get in contact with you, get your book and everything else under the sun, how do they do that?
Please reach out to me through, again, my website. There's a way to connect with me there. And I purchased the book through www.dropinjewels.com with a Z. Connect with me on Instagram at Justice Jewels, JUSTUSJEWELD, which I'm sure you're going to put in the caption anyway. So
I'm going to put it in the caption. But yeah.
So connect with me on there. I'm also on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Kendra Hall, and connect. And I look forward to sharing with you. I'm also coaching, so look me up for mentoring as well. I have a good amount of mentees. However, connect with me for a free consultation call, and we'll see what we can come up with that can assist with your growth and your development. So your personal development. So connect with me as well.
Hey, y'all heard the woman? Please connect with her. She has something that she's offering that you all can use, that we all can use. Ladies, please. There she is. All right. I thank you, man, once again for, coming on the platform, dropping your jewels and just, giving us insight, into, who you are and your story. So once again, no problem. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Word with Ty Brownlow. I am your host, Ty Brownlow. And remember, no one is worthless. No story is worthless. You can follow me on social media, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook at Word with Ty Brownlow. You can also follow me on Twitter, Ty Brownlow TV, or just go to my website, tybrownlow.com. Get this lovely interview plus all other great interviews. And Ms. Kendra Hall, I thank you. We are out. Peace.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Take care.